Masapayam Nawa Hawak Ahayawa Yoshaya Bahala Shawan Kadatsa Kwanawa Maya Shamaya Atla Walam Yam Apha Yasha Waha Aba Sha Bayatha Nawa Kalahagawa Yam La Aka La Aka Bayan Kaya Anathan Ha Tawarala Yaikwa Laka Ham Laka Ama Abalata Atata Sadakla Shamai Hatawa Daba Kaya Zazabataza I am La I shad Hawa Yahawa Shapa Aiza Ayam Shapaya Abba Awatya Shawa Abba Pasha Apya Awatya Baba Kwasha Iwa Para Hadra La Agabra La Nawabaya Nawabaya Nawaya Dai Ha Ama Wanawada Waha Iwa Ha Kwataza Payamba Ayam Payamba Ayam Taza that Lashawa Koya Payamba Ayam Payamba Ayam Payamba Ayam Lao Nai Sha Hawa Akaya Payamba Ayam Payamba Ayam Payamba Ayam Taza that Lashawa Koya Payamba Ayam Payamba Ayam Payamba Ayam Lao Nai Sha Hawa Akaya Payamba Ayam Ha Abara Kaya La Akaka Ha Abana Thana Wabarakyam Yapa Ha Awa Allah Allah Zakwan Laksakwan Thum Yan Ha Adash Thum Ya Shalawan Yan Ma'atfa Aha Ka'abwa Mashapata Kavia Mashapat Ka'ada Marin Allah Abba Wakuwan Kwamayam Hayayam Shao Hashatan Shawabla Hatabura Lakba Hamayam Ahab Ha'aba Kalaka Aitatawan Wayasha Abnagari Yam Kayapa Yam Yala Amafala Ashafa Afaya Laktazama Wahaya Abaya Bahakwataza Matya Ha'aba Nathayara Shalan Hawa Allah Akaka Shawaba Allah Hayam Wa Haya Yasha Payamba Ayam Payamba Ayam Taza that Lashawa Koya Payamba Ayam Payamba Ayam Payamba Ayam Lao Nai Sha Hawa Akaya Payamba Ayam Payamba Ayam Payamba Ayam Taza that Lashawa Koya Payamba Ayam Payamba Ayam Payamba Ayam Lao Nai Sha Hawa Akaya Payamba Ayam Exodus 32:14 Ayam Shawabya Shaharai Hawa Akaya Sabya Ladala Akaya Ya Luke 13:3 Awatya Dabata Kayata Shawab Atakalakan Ayaba Payamba Ayam Payamba Ayam Taza that Lashawab Koya Payamba Ayam Payamba Ayam Payamba Ayam Lao Nai Sha Hawa Akaya Payamba Ayam Payamba Ayam Payamba Ayam Taza that Lashawa Koya Payamba Ayam Payamba Ayam Payamba Ayam Lao Nai Sha Hawa Akaya Payamba Ayam 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 Payamba Ayam
All praises be to the Most High. Okay. Pull up something here. Grab a scripture real quick. All right, we're going to go get Ezekiel 20. 11:13. Good measure. Can y'all hear me? Is that AC too loud? Let me know if that AC is too loud. Will turn it off if I have to. All right, started. Pull this up on here. Yeah, I may turn that off because I can't hear. At least just for a moment. Turn it off. Yes, yes, yes. We gonna turn that off. So, where have I been? I've been laying low, fam, and I've been studying. I've been studying. I got some good news. I got some bad news. Uh, right? It's all good news to me, but to you it may be bad news, right? It's a lot going on, fam. It's a reason why I've been gone, right? Uh, man, I got hit with some revelations, and I tail spent, fam. And oh man, I just been buried in these books, and I've been on this study, y'all, and the Most High, He ain't playing with none of us. Number one, but number two, He ain't been playing with me. Okay, uh, we was just kind of wrapping our mind around the nine, right? And Mama hit again. She's not playing. She's not playing with us, man. You know, a lot of us wasn't even ready for that, and she moved again. A lot of us was still trying to get the fruit of the spirit off the ground, and she moved again quickly. Now, oh man, where do I start? There's so much going on, fam. Oh, it's so much going on. I'm looking for this information right now, and what it is it's a list of books. You know, uh, the KJV, of course, right? It's engineered, fam. It's engineered, man. right? It only gives us the information that it wants us to have in order to lead us in a certain direction. You understand that? It's a reason why we've been stagnant. It's a reason why we've been stuck. It's a reason why we're not moving. Some things that we're doing. It's a way that we're living our life. And the Most High does not like it. Okay? And we've been crippled. And I'm going to start talking about the reasons why that is. And you might be able to tell our numbers are a little skinny tonight. And that's because everybody is gone. Right? Because we're religious, fam. Right? And we think we love the Most High. We think we care for the Most High. Right? And in our minds, we do. We do care for him. We do love on him. We do want to serve him. But we can't be uncomfortable, fam. We can't be uncomfortable. We can't feel alone. We can't, right? We can't deal with things like this. When in real life, the Most High, he requires that, fam. Okay? And he's going to put you through all kind of stuff that exercises that. Right? You're going to have to be alone dealing with the Most High. You got to love the Most High and the Most High only. Only. Okay? Not your ego. Not your image. Not the little things that you like that make you feel good. Not your crutches. Definitely not no book. Okay? Not no book. Not no man. Okay? A lot of y'all, if you remove a certain man, the whole war shit go out the window. Oh, this Bible, a book, an object, okay, like this. Your whole worship is riding on that. So if something should happen or something should go wrong with that book, then you are going to be no more good. Right? And what is that? Idolatry. That book becomes an idol. Right? You guys have said, I don't care what this book says, I'm doing it. Without this book, I am nothing. If it's not in this book, I'm not dealing with it. Right? Anything outside of this book, I don't care about it. Right? And what has happened is, man, they did that on purpose. And they got you. They got you. If you don't know how to build your own book out of scrolls, okay, if you don't know how to build your own Bible out of fragments, okay, then you in trouble. Okay, and that's what I needed to see. And that's what the Most High showed me. And that's why the Father put me through what he put me through. That's why he did that. Okay, it's a whole bunch of reasons why he did it. You know, I can't say it's just for one or two reasons because it's been about 50 reasons, right? That he keeps revealing. Where is this post at? I wanted to just copy it and paste it so that you guys could have it, but it's not popping up. It's a list of books that I have, and I wanted to copy it and paste it for y'all. But yeah, you're going to have to build your own Bible because guess what our Bible is? It's how to take over the world with religion, right? Through the influence of Apostle Paul, who was not an apostle at all. Okay. He came about 30 years after Christ was dead. Okay. And I've been tearing him up on my Facebook page each and every single day, pulling out all of his discrepancies and his right, his contradictions, and where he's blatantly going against the Most High in Christ. He has some good stuff. Of course, we don't hate anybody. That's very spiritually immature to dislike any soul. We love Paul. We care for Paul, right? No matter how good or bad Paul was, we don't wish any negativity to come upon any soul. Why? Because that's death. And we are anti-death. We are pro-life, right? These are all things that I haven't been talking to you about because I've been missing. And I'm only live right now. I'm only having this conversation with you right now because I have to say something. I have to say something. I had to, okay? I've had this time go by, and let me see. I've had this time go by, and I can't let no more go by. I got to tap in with y'all because I do still love y'all, right? And I got to tap in with y'all real quick, briefly, and just let you know what's going on with me, right? But that's it, you know. Paul stuff, what he said, that makes sense and that's on point. We keep that, all praises. But it's a lot that he pushed, and the Roman government picked it up, and it's a reason why only his stuff has been prevalent far as scripture goes, right? You have your canon books. Those books were chosen by the Roman Catholic Church, fam. Okay? The Roman Catholic Church. And of course, these are the people who killed Christ, right? Much like it is today, okay? Our government, cops, the courts, the hospital, that's our government, okay? The Congress, the president, these type people, right? Uh, that's who was occupying Israel in the time of Christ. They were the authority over the land, right? They were the authority over the land. And they had it all up under siege and all of that. And the poor people which Christ come from, they didn't have much pull, right? And they couldn't do things. They was poor, they were oppressed. And we got the same thing going on today. We have us. We're poor, we're oppressed. We can't make much shake, not compared to the GOV, right? We can't make nothing shake with them. Uh, we're like we're like peasants to their majesty, right? We're worms to them, roaches or something, you know. And that's the same way it was in Christ's time. But you have one, okay, who is Apostle Paul, and he had pull with them. Okay, Paul was not poor. Paul had never been poor, not a day in his life. Okay, he had ships, and he was wrecking them left and right. And in that time, having a ship in that time was like having a skyscraper today, having a tall building downtown. Okay, he was rich. He didn't care nothing about no gospel, right? And I'm gonna prove everything I say. Okay, but I didn't come in here right now to pull anything out. I didn't come in here for that right now. I just came in here to check in with y'all and to catch up with y'all real quick. I can't make you no promises. I might come back tomorrow with some books and break some stuff down. Or I might disappear for a month again. I don't know. Right? Because I'm just so ravished. I'm just so ravished right now, fam. And I'm so deep in these studies, and I'm studying day and night. Okay? And it's so much information. I was trying to come out a month ago and bring some stuff out on y'all. And man, I got hit again and another tailspin again. Our law is fake, okay? Our Torah is fake, okay? And I know I'm gonna lose y'all with this because you guys are religious and you worship a book and not the Most High. I worship the Most High, okay? All of this stuff can move around. I don't care about nothing. I care about God, okay? And I know that He is a spirit. And us who worship Him, we must worship Him in spirit and in truth, right? What is spirit? Nothing, right? So I can't take some book, right? And then, okay, everything is riding on this book. No. Spirit is nothing. And truth. So if it's a lie, I'm not attached to that. If I'm attached to it and I find out it's a lie, I'm not attached to it no more. You understand what I'm saying? Because my allegiance is to what? Spirit and truth. Paul, whatever, I don't care, right? I can clearly see Paul for who he is. It's right in his scriptures. It's right, okay? Paul wrote all these books, okay? In the New Testament and even in the Old Testament that tampered with law, those are his forefathers. He is from a long line of Pharisees. And you know, Christ was in it with the Pharisees. Okay? So all of a sudden we have this apostle Paul, and he was on his way to kill some more Christians in Damascus, right? Somehow on this road, on this way, he has a vision, right? He has a vision. Oh, he falls out. 30 years after Christ is gone, right? He's headed to kill some Christians in Damascus. On the road there, he falls out. Oh, he sees some vision. He sees Christ. Christ comes to him and tells him this doctrine that is everything against what Christ taught when he was alive. Okay? And Christ has a family. They taught us that he left his family outside the synagogue, right? Because I'm doing my father's business and you guys are not a part of my father's business. So don't come and get me with my mother and my brothers and my sisters and stuff, right? We don't even know he had 4 brothers and 2 sisters, right? And right, they were the Nazarenes. He comes from a long line of Nazarenes. Okay? And they all felt the way he felt before he felt that way. And they raised him in that doctrine. Right? They raised him in that doctrine. They felt like that before Christ came along. Matter of fact, I'm going to tell you a story, okay, about the Nazarenes, who are a sect of the Essenes, who are also called the Ebionine, right? The Ebionites. Everybody's dying off, right? Because these vessels, they was towed up much how they are today. People were living to about 50, 60 years old, right? Because of the sacrifices, okay? All of the blood sacrifice that was going on, all of the animal meat that they was eating, they were sick, fam. And the Nazarenes said, man, look how we dying. Look how we don't live long enough to do anything. So let us clean up our diet, right? And maybe if we could live a little longer, get a cleaner vessel, we can birth the Messiah, okay? Maybe we could birth a Messiah that could come and with a message and, with some freedom for us and with some, right? And they planned Christ's birth out. And they broke away. They broke away from the rest of the Israelites, right? They broke away from the rest of the Israelites and they went communal living and they got themselves together, fam. And right? Because the priest and everybody else, they were slaughtering animals and eating them and stuff, right? They didn't want to do that anymore. And guess what else they were doing? They were drinking a lot of wine. much like in the time of Noah, right? Much like in the time of Noah, they were eating and drinking and being merry, right? And the Most High came, he destroyed the earth for how they was living their life, right? So it had gotten like that again, you know, leading into Christ's birth, the crisis time, right? So the Nazarenes broke off and they went and they ate fruit and vegetables, right? They wasn't partaking in the sacrifices. They cut that out, uh, right? They were always into the elements. They knew about the power that's in the sun. They knew about the power that's in water. They knew about the power that's in wind, okay? And they raised Christ this way. They got to where they were living for 130 years again. And out of that came Christ. They cleaned up their vessels, okay, and they got all of that blood off their hands. That's what's wrong with this world, fam. And that's why we can't uh really succeed at anything we try to do. And the Most High is telling us all throughout these scriptures, it's because you got blood on your hands. Okay, we're killers and slaughterers. The Most High didn't want us slaughtering his animals like this. Okay, and if you think it's cute, do it in front of your little girl and see if you don't traumatize her. Okay, it's wicked. Okay, it's of the devil. Okay, that's who has you guys sacrificing. That's who has you guys hooked on a piece of meat with every meal. Okay, that's who it's serving, right? That you have to eat like that. And guess what you want to do? You're probably thinking about the book of Timothy. Guess who wrote that? Okay, Paul. All right, who in which way back in the days, right? Way back in the days, the priesthood, uh, they were infiltrated, fam. They were infiltrated with these sacrifices. All of these stories we see about them sacrificing on the altar and everything that the Maccabees went through and all of that, it was any animal, fam. It didn't have to be no pig. They told us, okay, they told us it was pigs. Like it was cool to slaughter something else, a bullock or a ram or something. No, the Most High didn't want that blood on his altar either. Okay? But liars, they're good. They're good. And while you're listening to a liar and they got you caught up, you'll never escape from that. Okay? And that's what's going on right now. The Most High is saying, okay, he who have an ear, let him hear, right? You don't want to hear it? I love you, right? But let me tell you something about me, okay? I have been to the rock bottom many, many of times in my life. I haven't ever been afraid to be alone in my life, okay? I will have fun and dance and talk to myself and whatever else, right? I was born that way. I was 4 years old and I'd be on the other side of town walking, okay? Just having a good old time with myself, right? I've never been afraid to be alone. And throughout my life, I've built up a whole bunch of people, a big crowd of people, a whole bunch of friends, right? And my life will take a turn and everybody will be gone. Everybody will be gone, right? Something will happen or something, Oh, whoa, everybody's gone. Okay, I guess I'm back by myself again. So what? Since a baby, I've been this way. Since I've been in this truth, okay? My first days awakened, I was a Christian, okay? I staggered into that Sunday church on the corner, fresh out of jail, where I had a Bible in my cell, okay? And looked around, time to go. Because I'm reading in this book about idols. And baby, we surrounded by some idols in here. This is against God. I'm out of here, right? See ya. By myself again, no Christian friends, right? For months, maybe a few years, have nothing, nobody, girlfriends, a couple of brothers from the streets type things that followed me throughout my life, who I was going to talk to them regardless, wasn't nothing going to tear us apart, which it ended up uh, driving a wedge between us in the long run, because at some point they like, okay, this ain't no fad that he going through. This is how he is. So let me go on to get on the way, right? So that's how that worked out. But I've been a Hebrew, I've been a Hebrew, and still 80% Christian. Find out some more stuff. Now I'm 60% Christian and 40% Hebrew. That 40%, they dropped off. Now I got to find a whole new community to be a part of, right? Right? So I've been by myself so much, fam. And much as I love y'all, I'm not going to switch up on y'all. Y'all are going to switch up on me. When I say what I got to say, I'm out of here. That's what you're going to be like, man, this dude is tripping. Your Bible is fake, okay? Most of it. Let me tell you what's fake. Those sacrifices in the Old Testament, fake. Okay, Jeremiah 8:8 is going to tell you about the lying pen of the scribes, right? They scribed all in our book back there, okay? And they did it for the sake of this blood nobody wants blood but a vampire, okay? This blood sacrifice, they scribed it all in our Bible, okay? The priesthood was infiltrated and they sold the throne out, and that's why we don't have an Israel today, okay? That's why we scattered where we scattered in all of this, right? That's what angered the Most High, all of them blood sacrifices that they allowed into the temple and all of this blood magic, right? There is no blood magic. Christ did not die, right? So his blood could cover you. That's a lie. Nah, that was just a straight up martyr. Okay? When? 3 days after, right, he did all of that stuff up in the temple. He kicked in that door, made that bull whip. He beat them people out of there. He flipped over their money tables. Guess what they was doing? Selling animals to slaughter. Okay? He kicked over all their tables, all their change went all over the place, right? And then he went over there and he let all them animals go. And then he went out on the stairs and told everybody who would gather there, this place ain't going to be here. Okay, I'll destroy this place and rebuild it in 3 days. Remember all of that stuff? You don't have the real story, okay? You have Paul's story. Paul dictated that whole KJV, y'all, to go in the direction that he wanted it to go in. He had pull. He was rich. and he was the Roman government's boy. Okay? Yes, yes, yes. See you later. I see the numbers dropping. See you later. Okay? Go ahead on. Stay fastened onto that lie if you want to, but I'm not. Right? I love you. If you ever need me, I'm here. Okay? Whatever I got, you got. That don't ever change. Okay? But I understand if you take off, right? Because the it's strong, y'all. The religion is strong. And Paul set it up like that. He set up all of those scriptures uh that got you scared to say anything about meat, okay? That got you scared to say anything about forbidding to marry and all of this, right? You can't say nothing. We have this canon of books that we're holding to. The canon is when the Roman Catholic Church, okay, the mother harlot of the Christian church, okay, they said what books were going to be of God and what books were going to be heretical, right? So they picked these books to support Paul. And the rest of them, they threw in the garbage. The rest of them, they deemed them as heresies. And guess what they deemed heresy? Everything that we need to rise, right? Still killing us. That's why I died on that diet. That's why that happened to me, right? It happened for me to see and to break my spell from that book. And that's what it did. Because I poured 17 years into the KJV, y'all, and I died, okay? Clogged my organs up and died, okay? Off of steaks and ribs and burgers and beef bacon and right blood in my mouth every day. But you know what? I would take 30 days and wouldn't eat no meat. And oh man, I would just want to cartwheel down the street, right? And I would say, man, why do I feel so good when I'm not eating this flesh, right? And then soon as I bite it, you don't take a week to go back down. Soon as I bite it and swallow and digest it, it's like, oh man, I'm sick. Like, oh, what? Oh my goodness. And I knew in my heart, this can't be right. This can't be the Most High. And it wasn't. It wasn't. And I'm going to tell y'all something about Nazarenes and about Essenes and about the Ebionim. Let me tell you something about us, okay? Because we are still them same poor Israelites that were back there, okay? That birthed Christ, okay? We're still them. Let me tell you something about us, right? Naturally, the world fits us. Naturally, the world fits us. Okay? So, what they did was take us out of our natural world and put us in a book where everything is contradictory to us and our nature. Okay? Everything is demonic, right? That's what they did, fam. We are those folks, okay, that this earth was created for. So the sun is not your enemy, okay? We're not, nobody's bowing to the sun and, oh, good, everything's riding on the sun. Please, sun, save me. And no, it ain't like that, right? But guess what? It's iron in that sun, and you need iron to live. Right? Without iron, baby, you're going to shrivel up like a raisin and have a hunchback, right? That's why those old people are hunched over like that, because things happen to their body diet, okay, where their body stop processing and stop receiving iron, okay? Now, that sun was made for us. We were made to receive that sun, okay? Stop wearing hats and sunglasses and always running into the shade. Get out there, get you some of that sun, okay? And I woke up from the sapphire like that. I got to get me some sun. And I couldn't wait for the morning to come so that I could step out in that sun and just let it just sun kiss me, right? And just cook me. I needed it on my body, and I knew that I was going to die if I did not do that. So when that sun popped out, I was out there, okay? Dang near crawling, okay? Stuff beeping in the hospital. I done shot out the side of a back door. I need me some sun. I need me some grass. I need me some bushes. I need to hug this tree. I need to put my face on the side of this tree, right? Because it's life in this stuff. And I knew that if I wasn't gonna die, I needed to connect with this stuff, y'all. I woke up like that. Nobody had to tell me, okay? I didn't read any books. I didn't watch any video. It was natural. It was a part of my experience. So when I woke up chasing that stuff. I'm going to tell you right now, get you some sun. Let that sun cook your body. Let that sun kiss you and stare into the sun. Stare into the sun, okay? I know it's hard. And when you start, okay, it's going to be too bright. It's going to hurt and all of that. Look anyway. Look. And the longer you stare at that sun, the more all of that brightness is going to disappear. And the more you'll be able to just stare directly at that sun, right? Now, once all of that aura is gone and you can look directly at the sun, now you're getting it. You can't see all of that anymore because it's going into you, right? Through your eyes. Okay, something can hit your eyes and feed your entire body. The eyes is the window of the soul, ain't it? Okay, stare at that sun. Once all of that glare disappears and it's just you and that sun, now you're getting it. Now your body is filling up with a level of iron that cannot be substituted, fam. Okay? We are the children of Israel, right? We're the children of Israel. We are one with these elements. We die because we don't know how to breathe. Okay? What happened to me? I didn't know how to breathe when that happened to me. I had to come back here and learn that, right? I had to come back here and learn that. But when I learned how to take into your nose, blow out your mouth, in your nose, out your mouth, man, I start working and taking advantage of the oxygen, right? And I know how it feels before I knew how to breathe. Before I knew how to breathe, when I got an attack, I was just in trouble. And that's how I checked out and all of that. It wasn't a problem anymore after I knew how to breathe. Right? Oh man, it's just so much to talk about, fam. But earth, right? The dirt, the soil, ground Take your shoes off. Take your socks off. Okay? Dry dirt. And you will heal yourself. And if the dry dirt don't work, then put your feet in some mud. Saith the real Christ. Okay? When they was dying and with parasites and sick, and man, they ran to Christ and they said, man, what's going on? What do we heal? He said, first of all, stop sacrificing them animals. Okay, get that blood out your mouth and get that blood off your hands, first and foremost. Second, ground. Okay? Water. You need water. Okay? Go to the water. Go to the beach. Go to the river. If you ain't got a beach where you at, I know you got a river. Go to the water. Okay? Yes, yes, yes. Oh man, that's where our salvation is at. And they got us they got us separated from these things and scared to touch anything and scared to go near anything. And guess what we doing? Dying. We're closed up from everything. We don't receive nothing. Ain't no minerals in our food. Our food is fake. Okay? Everything is dead in your food. And we're just shriveling away. We dumb. We can't think. Okay? We can't think, fam. Okay? I'm exposing Paul. You should hear this stuff that Hebrews are telling me. That Hebrews are telling me. Okay? And I used to think these folks were smart and scholars and things. No, they're just religious. Okay? They are dedicated to a certain type of a knowledge. Okay? If it ain't coming out of that KJV, they done threw it in the garbage. And it's worth nothing. In which, if you don't let the Roman Catholic Church pick your canon for you, then you ain't even no Christian, baby. You are a Catholic. If you feeling what Paul is spilling, baby, you a Catholic. You might as well go praise Mother Mary in all of this, right? You might as well put that X on your forehead, right? Ash Wednesdays and all, right? You might as well go and do all of that. Because that's who picked your canon. Pick your own canon. Okay? The Gospel of Thomas. Okay? The Essene Gospel of Peace. Right? The Gospel of the Ebionine. Right? Who else we got? The Dead Sea Scrolls. Right? Yes, yes, yes. We got books, fam. Okay? The Gospel of the Holy 12. They want you to stay out of these books, so they give you some crazy foreword. Okay? Before you even get to the foreword, you got somebody telling you how it's a Gnostic and a heresy. You know who the Gnostic is? Paul. Okay? Because Christ and all of the priests and all of the prophets and all of the kings, they were all talking the same thing. All of the disciples, all of the apostles, they're all talking the same thing. You know, the only one person in that Bible who screwed it all up and is talking something different? Paul. Paul, that's who. Okay? In the Old Testament, all of that sacrifice, Abraham sacrificing Isaac supposedly was about to when the Most High has nothing to receive from you shedding no blood, fam. That's a lie. Okay? And if you watch one of them sacrifices, that's the assignment for today. Go find you a blood sacrifice and tell me that the Most High created life just so he can order for that to be done. Okay? They want all of the skin off. They want to skin it. Right? They want to skin you. And then they want to separate the fat from the flesh. Right? And then they want to collect this blood and play with blood and stuff like this. And then guess what else you got to do? You got to chop the neck off, right? And you chop the body up and you make something with it and you sit the head on top, right? And then you set it on fire. And that's a burnt offering, okay? And that's what they're doing with these animals. And guess what? They're doing it with humans, right? So we see him, they allow it to talk about that in the book, but they took away everything that said it was wrong for the animals to go out like this. They took all that away, right? But what is that? Isaiah, what Isaiah is that? I want to say 11. Isaiah 11:6. Let me see what that's saying. Let me go to Isaiah real quick, because it's talking about, right, how when the Spirit of the Most High is upon the earth, when the Most High Spirit is strong upon the earth the way it's supposed to be, because we have cut all of this stuff out, then we're going to what? We're going to cease from these sacrifices, right? And that's going to help the earth. Feel what I'm saying? The animals, the beasts, the ferocious beasts are going to stop chewing each other up, right? Somewhere around verse 6. Yep. Verse 6. That's that's it. Okay, we go down through 7, 8, cockatrice den. Okay, 9. And in that day shall be the root of Jesse. Okay, we're going to cut it there. We're going to go 6 to 9. We're going to go Isaiah. We're going to go Isaiah 11:6 to 9. And I'm going to just read this to y'all. And this, right, this is the Most High's vision for his earth and how he wanted it. Okay? Isaiah 11:6 and 9. No, I'm going to show you who Paul is. Okay? He never cared about Christ or the disciples or the gospel or any of that. Okay? He was joined together with the Pharisees and the Roman government to make, okay, when the Apocrypha say a stupor shall overtake the earth, okay, that's Paul. He overtook the earth, okay, with a stupor. And that's why they've been laughing at us. You wonder why they've been laughing at us? You wonder why they don't care about nothing we saying? You wonder why they ain't spooked at nothing we talking about? Because of that. They like, shut up, stupid. They ain't tripping off of us. Now you get to talking about these Essenes now. Okay? In the Ebionine, okay? In the Nazarene, and you get to talking like that. Oh, they boots is gonna shake now, because now they got a worthy opponent, right? They got a vessel before them without blood on their hands. Okay? Who's in tune with the elements and with God. Okay? But let's read this. Okay? Isaiah 11 and 6 through 9 tells us the wolf also. Okay, if it's saying also, then I left something back there. Hold up. What 5 say? Let's go on. Let's go get it from the top then. I'm going to go all the way back. Let's read that and bring that on up. Right? Because oh man, the Most High ain't playing with this earth, y'all. Okay? Right? And if you want to talk for real, then you know what to do. Okay? You know what to do. Isaiah 11 and 1 through 9. And there, right? Hold on. Where we at? Where I'm at? Okay, cut, pal. Okay. And there shall come forth a rod out of the stem of Jesse. Okay? And we're always the problem, right? That's always the problem. It's going to come out of our people. Okay? It's going to come out of us, fam. Okay? We are still the Ebionim. Okay? And the branch shall grow out of his roots. Whose roots? Jesse's roots. Okay? What is Jesse? Jesse is another name for Jacob. It's all the same name. Jesse, James, Jacob. Okay? It's the same name. 2, and the Spirit of the Lord shall rest upon him. And that's what he's doing. Oh, he's revealing himself now. Okay? And this ain't no KJV slumber, okay? Where we scared of everything and we scared of the very elements that we got to live by, right? The spirit of wisdom and understanding, that's where it started with the 9, right? When I opened up to that 9, man, that's what happened. And I couldn't hit this button, y'all. I didn't know how to talk to y'all. I didn't know how to tell y'all this, right? But I knew I would, but I just needed to get my study on real good and become a master of this the way I was a master and could talk to you about the other stuff I was talking to you about, singing about, making all that music about and all of that, right? I'm trying to get there in this knowledge, you know? So I'm doing a lot of studying, fam, right? But that's what this is, spirit of wisdom and understanding, right? The spirit of counsel. Now, counsel and might. Where's the counsel? Okay? The counsels that they pull us in are laughable. Are they not? They're laughable. That ain't no counsel, right? That's coming back. Counsel and might. It's going to be strong. It ain't just a counsel. It's a strong counsel, right? Things that change us, you know? Man, the best work is done not on this camera, y'all. When you hit me up and you tell me, man, I'm feeling like this, I'm feeling like that, I know exactly what it is. You need some of this, some of that. Stop eating this. Start eating some of that. That's counsel, okay? Now you're well, you know? We've been going hard. We in week 14 doing something else. We just ended week 14, right? Man, we killing this. We're healing, y'all, inside and out, mind, body, spirit, okay? That's counsel and might, okay? You ain't gonna die on our watch, okay? You ain't getting cancer and kicking the bucket and we can't do nothing about it. We're not those people anymore, okay? That's over, right? Yes, yes, yes. Uh, the spirit of knowledge and of the fear of the Lord, okay? So it's the spirit of knowledge, so we're knowing, and the fear, what? We're righteous. That's the only thing make you righteous, is to be scared of God. Okay? If you're not scared of God, I'm gonna look at you and I'm gonna know that you're not. Okay? There's things you can't say when you're scared of God. There's a way you can't act. There's an attitude that you can't cop when you're scared of God. Okay? The fear of the Most High is missing in the earth. Why? Paul. Paul. Paul taught you how to be double-minded. Okay, in James 1 and 8, James is our guy. Okay, James, his whole 5 books that they barely allowed him to have in that New Testament, he's talking about Paul for his whole, man, go read that. And you'll be able to go into Paul's books and just pick out each and every subject that James brings up, okay? Because Christ left everything with James, okay? Christ left everything with James. That's his blood brother. They grew up together. They grew up by Joseph and Mary, who were vegans, okay? Who didn't eat no flesh and who didn't drink no wine, okay? None of the Nazarenes were raised on meat and wine, okay? And that's the eating and drinking and being merry that made the Most High flood the earth in Noah's time, okay? That's what they was doing, eating beasts, okay? You know, eating beasts and drinking wine. And what's going to happen? That ain't where it stops. Other things ensue, right? Yes, yes, yes. But you know, that's how that happened. Okay? Uh the spirit of knowledge and of the fear of the Most High. We wasn't scared, y'all. We're double-minded. We think we love him. We half love him. We know how that feels, right? We know how it feels to love the Most High and to just want to please the Most High and to want to take care of the Most High, right? And then we have this other nature that creeps in, right? And it turns us into somebody else. And then we struggle, right? And we lose more battles than we win. You know? Now see, and that's gonna make y'all mad. He got us, we can't say nothing, everything is offensive. I'm gonna tell you, I was kicking its behind, okay? My temptations and stuff, they wasn't whooping me like that, okay? I was whooping them, okay? And I'm gonna say that, and you can feel how you want to feel about that, okay? Or would you rather me be sitting here telling you that there is no hope, right? Yes, yes, yes. Okay, no, there is hope, fam. We can whoop this thing if we get away from Paul, right? And I'm gonna tell you right now, God is pro-life. He's all life. He is no death. No death. Okay? That'll be against him. Okay? Black and white are not the same. Up and down is not the same. Left and right is not the same. Okay? Darkness is not light. Light is not darkness. Okay? And the Most High is not death. Okay? Death is the void. Death is the void of the Most High. Okay? Yes, 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 yes. Okay? The spirit of knowledge. Okay? And the fear of the Lord. That's very important, fam. Okay? We gotta get afraid of the Most High. Okay, and being separate from Him. We want to get close to Him. When we get close to Him, that's when nothing can touch us. That's when we're in our best mood. That's when we're untouchable, right? The further away we get from Him, the more things is able to just touch us, right? Verse 3, and shall make him a quick understanding in the fear of the Lord. Okay? Make him a quick understanding, and he shall not judge after the sight of the eyes. We're all doing that. Why? Paul. That's why. Okay? We judge after what our eyes see. We don't care about righteousness and unrighteousness. Because I was all the way right, did nothing to nobody, and I had to sit back and watch everybody choose the lie and ask me nothing. Okay? Ask me no questions. Okay? Why? Paul. Okay? He shall not judge after the sight of the eyes, neither reprove after the hearing of the ears. Just because I heard it is true. Nah, you got to analyze that and prove things. By what? Witnesses. So make these guys cough up these false witnesses then. Okay? I want to see how far they willing to go. Let's see if you're going to coerce some false witnesses. Right? And a lot of brothers ain't willing to really go that far, you know? But if they have an empire riding on it the way they do, then, you know, yeah, they'll do that. They'll create some secrets with some guys that only them and the guys know. Yeah, we lied about that. Well, we had to think quick. We had to come together and make something up, right? And create false witnesses. Okay, but guess what? Neither reprove after the hearing of the ears, y'all, right? But with righteousness shall he judge the poor. Okay, so what does that mean? To judge the poor. That means to make decisions for the poor. And he's going to do that with what? With righteousness. Okay? It's going to be right when he do it. He ain't doing it looking at the poor the way the rest of the world was looking at the poor, right? Nah, he's not looking at them like that. He's looking at them righteously. And guess what he's going to bring them? Justice. Okay? And reprove the equity of the meek. Okay? That word meek right there should be ebionim. Ebionim means to be the poor. Okay? The ebionim. And that's who Christ is also talking about when he say the meek shall inherit the earth. That's also who Christ is talking about when he says, right, sell your stuff and give it to the poor. He was inviting that rich man back, right, to Nazareth, right, among the Nazarenes, right? They say Nazareth never existed, right? That's false, right? Nazareth existed. It's where the Nazarenes went and lived, right? But they are the meek. Okay? And he shall smite the earth. He gonna hit the earth. With what? With the rod of his mouth. Okay, a rod is a stick, right? So the Most High, he's gonna speak. Words is gonna do this, right? Words made this earth, didn't it? Yes, it did. Right? With his words, he's gonna do this. I could be speaking them right now, right? That rod of his mouth could be coming out of my mouth right now, ain't yours. right? Yes, yes, yes. And with the breath of his lips, who was that, mama? Okay, the Holy Spirit, shall he slay the wicked, right? Uh, I don't know, fam. I don't know. He don't slay anything. Okay, he doesn't slay anything, fam. He's pro-life. He is no death. But you know what? The further they get away from him, the further they just perish. And that's what we're doing. That's when we pass away, that's what's happening. We're so far away from God. We just got to, okay? It's not enough to keep this flesh carrying itself. But when we take that blood off of our hands and we take that blood off of our mouth and we get in with our elements, with our water and our sun, right? And our fruit and vegetables and the things of health, we're going to live to 130. We could do that again now. Okay? So, I'm looking at that kind of stuff different now. The Most High is not gonna swing. He's not gonna swing a rod and do nothing, right? Nah, they're just moving so far away from him that his absence it causes death. Okay, and that's how he's gonna slay the wicked. Know your God, okay? Because if your God creates life and then turns around and creates death and causes something to die that he created, then he's a hypocrite, okay? And I don't serve that God. I serve the God that created all life, okay? That's who I serve, okay? He's not going to kill anything. And he didn't order them sacrifices, okay? And we're going to prove that, okay? We're going to go into the records that are called the letter sources, right? And it tells us how our Torah was built and what went in there and when and by whom, okay? And those sacrifices went in there in somewhere in the 500s, in the 500s, somewhere about 560 BCE, right? Where actually we were in Babylonian captivity in this time. So we wasn't in the land writing nothing into our law. Okay? Yes, yes, yes. Nah, somebody else did that. But we're gonna look at that. Don't trip. You know, right? And righteousness shall be the girdle of his loins. Okay? Righteousness is going to hold his clothes together. Righteousness is going to be, right, what embodies him. Okay? And faithfulness, the girdle of his reins. Right? Now, that's where we headed, y'all. When will we ever get there? Okay? In this state that we're in right now. When will this ever change? It's not going to be changing. You know why? Because we're going to have blood on our hands. Okay? Get that blood off your hands. Get that blood out your mouth. Okay? And they set Paul up and talked all this heretical talk so that we would be scared to death to say what I just said just now. Right? That's why he said that. Oh, the second they tell you something about eating meat, to stop, right? Commanded to abstain from meats, right? Forget that. Forget that. Stop slaughtering the most high's creatures, okay? With eyeballs like you got and a personality like you got. Okay? We can't do no death and not have it go into this existence against us. And that's why we cursed. And that's why we dying young. And that's why we double-minded. Okay? And Paul's ancestors, the priests, the Pharisees, which he was, They started that. They allowed that into our law, right? We were doing it, and that's what got us sent into the captivity. Now, while we were in that captivity, it became part of our commandments. You understand what I'm saying? All right? And we're going to prove all this. I was looking uh, for my list of books, right? These are all the books that we go in and prove this alongside of the letter sources, right? The P source. That's where most of it is at, mainly. The priestly source, right? The P source. We have the Y source, right? We have the E source, right? We have the Q source. And we're going to go into these sources and we're going to see what happened there. Okay. The law we have today is not the law that Moses wrote. Okay. That law been gone. Okay. It been gone. Right. That I want to say second Esdras 14 and 21. 14 and 20 through 21. Let's be sure. Let's be sure. Let's beeline. Go to there real quick. Right? Second Esdras 14, 20 through 21. When we go there, that's going to tell us, right? Second Esdras 14 and 20 says, "Behold, Lord, I will go as thou hast commanded me, and reprove the people which are present." And that's what everything has been about. These sacrifices, fam. Everywhere we're not getting along. Everywhere the Father is sending the prophet. Everywhere this is going on. He's sending us to say, man, stop slaughtering stuff. Okay? Stop shedding blood. Your hands are full of blood. Okay? And they hid that part. Okay? They made us think that it wasn't a violation until we did our babies like that. And that's why in Isaiah 11, it's talking about the child playing with the beast and all of that, right? Because that's what we would sacrifice and killing, right? And slicing up. And that caused them to be vicious, right? A lion to chew your baby up. That's why the earth took that route and went that way. We put all this wickedness in this earth, right? But 20, behold, Lord, I will go, and thou, as thou hast commanded me, and reprove the people which are present. But they shall be born afterwards, right? They that shall be born afterward, who shall admonish them, right? Thus the world is set in darkness, much like it is now, right? And they that dwell therein are without light. Why? Why are we without light? 21. Thy law is burnt. Okay, so that's what happened to the law that Moses wrote. Okay, let me get that on the screen for you. Right there. Right? Thy law is burnt. Therefore, no man knoweth the things that are done of thee. Okay? Or the work that shall begin. We didn't know which way was up. The law was gone, right? We didn't have a law. It was gone. So, of course, Esdras he drinks this fire water, and a spirit comes upon him, and they're able to write the law back out, right? And but it wasn't the same one Moses wrote, and you can bet that it differs, okay, from the first one. It's going to differ, and the one we got now, oh man, it got all kind of crazy stuff in it, right? Jeremiah 31:31. Okay, we know right from wrong. He said he will write it on our hearts, right? So we have this book telling us something else. You know, we go into this book and we know it ain't right. You know, in your soul, a lot of what this book is telling you, man, this is cruel. But hey, I get to do it in the name of the Most High. So let me just chop something up, right? Let me love this death coming up on this person or this animal, or right? Yeah, the Most High kid, the Most High ain't never ordered nothing killed, y'all, ever. Okay, but let's get back to this Isaiah 11, right? 6. The wolf also shall dwell with the lamb, y'all. Okay, the wolf shall dwell with the lamb. So not even the wolf is gonna be slaughtering this lamb anymore. Okay, so this is talking about a day where righteousness and faithfulness and all the righteousness, faithfulness, right? The girdle of his reins, right? The girdle of his loins. We're just shrouded in righteousness, right? For who? For the poor. So the animals are being counted as the poor too, and the meek. Tell me a sheep ain't meek. What can it do to you? It can't do nothing to you if you want to cut its neck, right? And that's how meek appears a lot. So, like the Schindler's List or something. What could them people do? They just had to go jump in that furnace, right? I'm not talking about if or not it's true or whatever, right? But I'm using that as an example. What about us when it was time to get hanged, right? When it was time to hang, we could fight the best we could. Somehow we still winded up swinging from that tree, right? Strange fruit, huh? See what I'm saying? All right. But in this day, I ain't nothing dying. Okay. We got we got a wolf dwelling with a lamb. Okay. We got a leopard lying down with the kid, which that's a baby goat, right? And a calf and a young lion. Okay. That's docile to ferocious. A young lion is ferocious, right? But they're laying together, they're getting along. That spirit of death is out of the world. That's why. Okay? Right? The young lion is laying with the fatling together. Okay? And this one kills it right here. And the little child shall lead them. Okay? So the child is in the front. It's a baby in the front, leading all of these vicious beasts, leopards, and right? You know what would have been like that if we didn't mess it up? The Garden of Eden. We're going back to Eden, fam. We're going back to Eden. And when we're reading uh the first chapter of Genesis, he tells us to eat that fruit. He don't tell us to eat those beasts. He said we can use them. He didn't say we could kill them. Okay? And there's a lot of ways that we use these animals without killing them. Okay? And the little child, reading on, and the little child shall lead them. Okay? 7, and the cow and the bear. Okay, the cow and the bear shall feed. Okay, they're eating together. They're not eating each other, but they're eating together. Their young ones shall lie down together. The lion shall eat straw like an ox. Okay, there it is. There's that vegetation chewing the cud. Okay, they do that now, right? They be grass fed and stuff, right? But the bear gonna be eating it too. Okay, he's not gonna be eating fish. Okay, and tearing up beehives. Okay, you're not gonna be doing that. Nothing's gonna be getting harmed. Everything is gonna be able to live its life the way the Father intended, the way the creator of life intended it. Okay, if you got something that's being killed or dying, okay, then I don't know who your God is, right? Because the Most High is pro-life. He don't do none of that, right? 8, and the suckling child, okay, a breastfeeding baby, shall play on the hole of an asp. Okay, we got a baby playing on the hole of a snake. Okay, and weaned child, the weaned child, right? That's fresh off of the milk. A toddler, right, shall put his hand on a cockatrice den. That's another snake, right? There's no death here. There's no harm. There's no aggression. There's no viciousness. There's no ferociousness, right? So there needs to be a string of people throughout the earth living like that right now. They're called the Nazarenes. They're called the Nazarenes, okay? Which is a spinoff and a sect of the Essenes. Okay, you could switch the Nazarene out for the Ebionine. Okay, you could switch those two out, or you could rep it all, which I do. Essene. Okay, and that's what they was worried about. That's what they don't want us to get back to. Okay, they ain't worried about you calling yourself the tribe of Judah. They laugh at that. Okay. Now you coming out of Christ. These people raised Christ. Okay, Christ was a hero to these people, but they telling us that he left them outside the synagogue, right? And like he was on something separate from what they were on. Oh, never mind it. Yeah, because now you get rid of his family, you could take him and you can create a folklore and a dogmatic right mind and brainwash some people, some propaganda, right? You could go do all of that. They took Christ and built a folklore story around Christ, and they fed us that. So all of you guys who are arguing with me about Paul, that's what you're protecting, okay? Mm-mm. Nah, nah. This is what's pure, okay? Verse 9, they shall not hurt, keyword hurt, right? Y'all see that, right? They shall not hurt, nor what? Destroy in all my holy mountain. For the earth shall be full of knowledge. We dealing with a lack of knowledge right now. You don't even know he don't want you killing these beasts. You don't even know that all of that blood on your hands is what's keeping your life cursed. Okay? You don't know that you chewing on it, putting it in your mouth, and swallowing it down into your body, you're swallowing death. And death brings forth death. If you don't want to die, don't kill nothing. If you don't want to die, That should be common sense. Don't cause nothing to die. And we know that. And that's what Jeremiah 31:31 is promising. Okay? I will write my laws on your heart. What laws will he write? Don't kill nothing. If you read that, that's why he was mad. It was a lot of sacrifice going on, right? And they led us to believe that it wasn't a violation until you're sacrificing a human being. Nah, he was mad about all of it. He was mad about any bloodshed. That's my form. That's my baby. I formed that thing, right? And I put that blood in there for it to circulate through the body. The life is in the blood, right? It's feeding life to my creation, my baby. Please don't cut that neck and spill that blood. Okay? What precious thing did you create that you don't mind if somebody destroy it, right? The scripture says the devil comes to steal, kill, and destroy, right? Pull up that kill. It's going to mean sacrifice. Take it into the Strongs and look at it. It's going to refer to when a priest actually throats something, right? It's not any kill. It's talking about sacrifice, fam. Okay? 9, they shall not hurt. Okay? If you hurt it, it don't mean you destroyed it, right? You just hurt it. But we ain't even going to be doing that either. And that's how this is able to happen. That's how all of these beasts and snakes and babies are able to intertwine like this, right? Because, right? They shall not hurt nor destroy in all of my holy mountain. Guess what else? Remember, it talks about us burning up their weapons so that they can't cut no more trees out of the forest. And then we go into the book of Essene, and it's telling us that the trees are our brothers too, and to hug that tree and we'll heal, right? I'm hugging the tree every week, fam. And these kidneys is A1. Let me throw that out there too for y'all. Okay? If you say anything about my kidneys, you'll be a liar. Okay? They back. My kidneys are back. I'm doing everything that kidneys do. Okay? So much for that too, for y'all that was enjoying that I was down like that. Okay? I ain't down no more. Right? For the earth shall be full of the knowledge of the Lord. And that's what's coming back now. Okay? Use this earth and heal. And use this earth and become strong. If you don't need to heal and you're already healed, then guess what you're going to do? You're going to become goddamn supernatural. Okay? You're going to become back how like Judah was. Okay? Throwing beasts down hills and stuff. Okay? And running faster than a chased roll and all of this type stuff, right? That we get out of the patriarch books. You go back to that, okay? Last comma. As the waters cover the sea, there's our water. Get in that water, okay? Find you some water, fam. Right? It heals. You need it. There's stuff in it. There's minerals in it. Okay? Get in that water. Okay? And soothe yourself. Okay? Let it between your toes and all up under your underarms and stuff. Right? And you knocking stuff. You're knocking stuff off of the years of your life that done jumped on you and harming your health, right? We catch these sea answers, right? The big C. We catch that and we just drift away from God. That's our body decaying away. Okay. Sea answer. Okay. We got this bad diet, you know, and we just drift away from the Most High. And that's what the big C is, you know. Now you go get these folks and they're shriveled up and they bone skinny and they bald headed, right? I was like that too. I was so thin. I didn't lose my hair because I wasn't dealing with no chemo. But man, I was skin and bone. Okay. My body was eating itself. Okay. This happened to me quite a few times in my life. You know, and what brought me back every time? Nuts. Okay, mixed nuts, cabbage, okay, romaine lettuce, right? Bell peppers, Brussels sprouts. Okay, that's what brought me back every time, right? Cut the barbecue. Too heavy for me. I'm not having that. Different type of soups, right? Bitter melon, right? Now bitter melon don't taste good, but it tastes delicious when you need to heal, okay? And when you see what it do for you, yikes. Let's get on out of here. You know? Let's get on out of here. I love y'all. I just want to catch up with y'all. I just wanted to hit this button and have a little conversation with y'all and let y'all know what's going on. Okay? We have land. Anywhere you need it, anywhere you at, tap in for that. And I'll tell you how that's going. But we got land, fam. Every city, every state, right? Uh, it ain't gonna cost you nothing. Just pull up, right? And let's grow these fields of food. That's still in effect, right? That's still in effect. Uh, the charity is still going on. Okay, we still taking care of folks. Folks still gotta eat. Folks still need socks, right? We still pushing that. We still strong on charity. We still divine in R9. That ain't went nowhere. All of that's the same, right? We still love everybody even more now than we did before. Because, see, now we are anti-death and we are pro-life. Guess what else we are? We are pro-truth and anti-lie. So, right? That means we got to catch Paul. And I'm going to start going into that too. You ain't going to believe it. You ain't going to believe it, okay? Depending on how strong your indoctrination is, it's going to flip your world upside down. And I'm seeing that a lot too. There's some people who the last time I was before this camera, we were best friends. But through this Paul stuff, oh man, they done lost their mind, okay? Uh, a slobber spilling dog, okay, showing the canines type, okay, crazy people losing it, okay, behind this Paul thing and this false doctrine, okay, the book of Matthew, uh, and Mark. Luke is fake. Luke you can't trust. Some of Luke is okay. But the Gospel of Thomas is mostly the book of Mark, right? And the book of Mark was put together by a split of Matthew and Luke, right? So that's Luke's real book when you're in the book of Mark. Okay, and when you read the Gospel of Thomas, that's what you're looking at. Okay, so Paul didn't write those. Paul wrote, of course, all of his epistles to his churches. Paul wrote the book of Luke. You can't go there, right? Where you can go there and they're good scriptures and we still use them. But if you're trying to get away from what Paul wrote, because I'm telling these people about Paul and they're bringing out these books to refute me that Paul wrote, okay? Luke was Paul's underling, okay? Paul was rich. He had juice as a Pharisee, and he had juice as the Roman gov's boy, right? So he had influence. So if any old rinky-dink Israelite wanted to sell out and have a couple dollars and be among the rich and not in Nazareth with the Ebionim, right? Then he could always sell himself out, right? So that was kind of Luke in them situation. Luke, Timothy, those are all Paul. They sold out to Paul, right? So, when you're reading those books, you're reading Paul's influence. Okay? John, I was giving John credit. I just found out the other day, okay, that the book of John, that was like the last book. That book came out like 100 years after Paul was dead. That book was written. So at first I was saying Matthew, John, right? And Mark. Those are authentic apostle books. Rest of that stuff, Paul. Anything in the book of Timothy, Paul. First and Second Timothy, Paul. The book of Luke, Paul. Okay? Galatians, Philippians, Corinthians, all of those books, Paul. But guess what? The things we love about Corinthians and all of that, I got that stuff in other records, y'all. That's not Paul's stuff. Okay? What Paul put in there was all of the confusion. Okay? And all of the stuff that go directly against the Most High in Christ and got you sinning against the Most High in Christ and got you think you doing it righteously because you're getting it out of this New Testament, this canon that the Catholic Church chose. Right? No, we pick our own canon. Right? But, man, if I could, let me see. Y'all just gonna have to write this down because I had it where I wanted to kind of paste it for you, but I can't find that list. So let me go in here where I got my stuff and I'll tell you the titles of the books. I'll write them in. We'll do that and then we'll get out of here. How long we been on here? Almost 2 hours. Right? You could pick up any one of these books, y'all, and start reading. You want the Travels of Peter. Okay? You want the Essence of James. Don't listen to nothing they're going to tell you about these books, because that's why nobody's reading them. Before you could even get to the foreword, they're telling you that book is blasphemy. Stay away from that book. Somehow you winded up with the book still in your hand. You know what? I'm going to check this book out. And then you read that preface and that foreword, and it's going to tell you something so disgusting in there, you're going to close the book and toss it. They hide things in the pages of books, y'all. Your deliverance that stops you from being poor and double-minded and unrighteous and can't, right? It's in those books that they running you away from the real disciples, y'all. When they got you a double-minded man is unstable in all his ways, they got us stuck on that in the KJV, right? Now, we love Paul, and we use his stuff that sound, because you ever seen the movie In Too Deep, where Cool J, he went undercover, but he really did start getting sucked in and start becoming like the drug dealer? I think that happened to Paul, right? He got in there, he really started, man, that spirit might have jumped on him in some areas, because he is breaking it down in some areas, right? And I think he was really getting sucked in, right? But yeah, don't let nothing stop you. Make your decision. Hear the conclusion of the whole matter, all that, right? Long as it don't take you away from what you know the Most High's commands are, right? And let me add, get all of that sacrifice and death out your law too. Get that up out of there. Okay. The letter of Peter and James. Wait, the letter of Peter to James, right? The letter of Peter to James. This is liberation that I'm talking to y'all, fam. This is the stuff I've been reading. There's a book called The Book of Q, and there's a surprise in that. Read that preface and foreword. It's going to take you straight to the sapphire, right? That's the Book of Q. Get that one, right? And that's wait a minute, it wasn't the Gospel of Thomas. It's that's the Book of Q, which is Matthew and Luke's joint venture, right? That they went in on, right? The Didache, we went into a little bit of that. Right? The Didache, get you some of that. Okay? Gospel of Thomas. Let me not forget the Gospel of Thomas. What else we want? Of course, the Peace Source. Right? The Book of Philo. The Book of Philo. The Josephus. It'll tell you a lot about the Essenes. Right? You want to go into your Josephus. Right? Yeah, highest harvest is talking about the sapphire in that foreword. Right? The Clementine recognitions. Right? The manual of disciplines. You want that. Manual of discipline. You know, the word discipline is where the word disciple comes from, right? So that's about the disciples. You want to learn about disciples? You want to learn about disciples, which Paul was not one. Paul was not a disciple or an apostle, fam. Okay? The epistles of James. You want the epistles of James. You want the gospel of Matthew. Okay? I see him wiping y'all out. This probably didn't. I hope this play back. It probably don't even play back because I'm talking about these records. Right? They just recently found the Moses scroll. It was buried. But we're gonna get some of that law back that got burnt up. Right? From Moses. That Moses came with. Right? Glory to the Most High. Okay. But if you willing to take this walk with me, fam, then we could keep on walking, you know. But I know I'm gonna lose some of y'all the way I've been losing y'all. You know, I'm a lot lighter on friends right now since I've been talking about this, and I understand that. You know, maybe one day, you know, your eyes pop open. You see that I'm not your enemy, and neither is James or the disciples who Christ put down, who Christ raised, and he left a doctrine with them. He left a lifestyle with them. Okay, and right, and the Nazarenes raised him. Okay, Christ never tasted a sacrifice, y'all. Never tasted a sip of wine. I know they told you he drunk wine. He didn't drink no wine, fam. And that's the gospel of the holy. Is that the gospel of the holy 12? Right? Gospel of the holy 12, chapter 6. Just start reading that, and it's gonna grow Christ and James up. They're blood brothers, y'all. Joseph and Mary raised them both. Or is it the Nazarene Acts of the Apostles? Let me get that book. Right? The Nazarene Acts of the Apostles. Right? But and don't think you can't stop eating meat, y'all. It's gonna be hard. It's gonna be hard, but you can do it. You can do it. You could come off of it. And let me tell you also that I haven't ever seen somebody stop and want to go back. I haven't ever seen somebody stop and not tell me how great they feel. And, you know, I ain't felt like this since I was 8. I ain't felt like this, Brian, since I was 12. Bronze, this was what was wrong with me the whole time. Bronze, my thoughts are so clear. Bronze, I have so much energy. Bronze, yeah, because you got all of that death out of your mouth and off of your hands. You got all of that blood off of your hands. And now the Most High is like, come on, my child, right? But that's another story. We'll talk some more later on. I love y'all, fam. We'll talk later. All right. I don't know when I'll be back. Cause I stick my face in these books and I just lose a month, you know. You know, but I'm gonna try to get back before this screen. Uh I'm where I've seen everything at this point, and I'm just kind of backtracking through. So as I backtrack through, right, when I see something, I'm gonna bring it before the camera, right? And we're gonna read it together and we're gonna check it out, right? We're gonna check it out, you know, and don't worry about nothing. Uh Latch on to the most high, fam. And he is invisible. Spirit and truth, right? He's not a book. Don't be afraid to let the book go. Okay. Latch on to the spirit of life. You can't go wrong. Okay. Life, y'all. And I knew that when I woke up. Okay. And right. I've cut off social media except for YouTube. That's why I haven't tapped in. Right? Glad to hear you and mama working through you. Oh yeah. Yeah. Pro life, anti death. Brother Mark. Right? Read y'all a little bit. The highest harvest loves the Josephus. Josephus talks a lot about the Nazarenes. And that's a culture, that's a type of an Israelite. Years, years. Christ was born. They are who birthed Christ. And if they didn't break away from the rest of the Israelites and stop the meat and the liquor, you wouldn't have got no Christ. Because the Most High wasn't birthing him into this dirty earth in these dirty vessels. And they understood that and they broke away from all of that and they start living to 130 again. At which time they did produce the vessel that was clean enough to birth the Messiah, y'all. Right? You up on the Clementines? Yes, yes, yes. See, now we talking about something now. Now we're gonna get loose. Okay? And we had it. We had it. The Divine Nine was doing it. The Divine Nine would have did it just fine. You know? But now we actually do have endless literature. And what we're doing, we're making our own canon. Okay? What's the KJV 80 books? We don't get our 80 books, right? It was actually 204 that they wrote. Okay. And that's probably what we got is the rest of that 204. Right? Yes, yes, yes. But we'll talk, fam. We'll talk. We'll talk. We'll talk. Right? And yeah, don't worry about nothing, man. The Most High, man, he ain't gonna let it what they thought. He ain't gonna let us stay stupid. All of these liars, he gonna expose all of these liars to us. You definitely not gonna be able to put one in the same book with us. A mole like Paul, and we love Paul, right? We love Paul. We're still gonna use his stuff. I'm still posting this stuff, right? So don't see me going in Corinthians and say, "Oh, I thought you this and that about Paul." Nah, we don't what? You know, we don't cut nothing off that came from the Most High, right? Now we know what didn't come from the Most High. We're going to expose that. Why? Because it's affecting your behavior and it's keeping you double minded and it's keeping you a hypocrite. Christ warned us about the scribes and the Pharisees. Paul was both, right? He told us they was double minded, right? Paul, perfect example, told us everything they would do. You're going to travel the world. You're going to forget about the poor right here in Jerusalem. You're going to travel the world and set up churches, right? And get rich and control families. Who else you know did that? That's why they live. That's why they love Paul so much. Okay? Because he gave them a life and a hustle in it, right? They ain't getting rid of this. And they know about these books. They know about this discipleship. They knew about that. They knew that the real disciples got rolled over on while Paul got exalted 30 years later after Christ was gone, right? Why they ain't 12 disciples books in the New Testament? We got 4 disciples and all the rest is Paul, and the 4 disciples that's in there, like 2 of those are being steered by Paul. But Shalom, fam, right? I love y'all. We're gonna talk. I'm gonna try to get back before this camera, man. You know, right? And I'm gonna start showing y'all some of this stuff that I'm looking at. We'll read some of that, and that's liberating, fam. Right now, I'm on the Gospel of Thomas, very strong. Okay, and most of that you're gonna find right uh in the book of Mark, in the book of Matthew and Luke. Now the book of John came way later, and man, that was one of my favorite books, the book of John. But shalom, y'all. Shalom, if you say it like that, shalom, however you say it, right? We are not religious, right? Academics does not divide us, or none of that, right? Yah, Ahia, whoever you call on, Yahuwah, Yahweh, whoever you call on, right? You are brethren, right? And academics don't divide us, man. Oh man, wait till we go into this about Paul. You notice how all of them did that? They all needed that separation. Like, oh man, y'all ain't even ready, man. Right? Us who stay around, get ready to get liberated. When all of this war talk, we don't need no war. That's a beast nature. We could go right now, pool our couple dollars, and build paradises for ourselves. Buy rural land, right? Which we have. We have that, right? Anywhere you at, we got it. But we'll talk, y'all. Shalom, right? Shut this thing down. I'm gonna catch up with y'all.